What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more Savoy. And we're back to start a new album. Once again, big shout out to Graham. And we're going to go to the 1999 album, Mountains of Time. I already love the title phrase, the idea of a mountain, which is a geographical formation occupying physical space, referring to that or using that conceptually within the context of time. I just find that to be very interesting right out of the gate, and obviously it might refer to large bulks of time or periods of time difficult to traverse or to reach the summit of. So ultimately I feel like already there's some interesting potential concepts or allegorical understandings at play. So this is obviously a couple years after Lackluster Me, which I felt was a very expansive and exploratory album that went beyond sonically what the original album did. Now it seems like more people prefer Mary Is Coming to Lackluster Me, and I did enjoy most of what I heard on Mary Is Coming, and I don't know, maybe I do even prefer it to Lackluster Me, although again it's a bit apples and oranges, but that's kind of the point. Like, I enjoyed what Lackluster Me did in terms of expanding what Savoy's sound was at that stage, so I like that album a lot, even if, again, it is quite different from the preceding one. So curious to hear, what the sonic lanes are, if it's, more rock or guitar driven, sort of like Mary Is Coming, or if it's something else entirely. Maybe it's a continuation of some of the styles that we heard on Lackluster Me. So all these things are percolating in my head as we begin the album. And the first tune on Mountains of Time is Man in the Park. It feels very generally descriptive. It's, we don't know who the man is, we don't know what or where the park is, or what the context of him being there is, but there is a man in the park, and ultimately that sounds like it could be the beginning of a Robert Frost walking around considering life and the world, or like a police report. Yeah, there's a man in the park looking a bit shady, so I feel like we could go either direction there or anything in between. Let's find out what it actually is. This is Savoy, the tune is Man in the Park, and it's the opening track on the 1999 album Mountains of Time. Or it would be if things had been put into an on position. See, these are the things that you have to deal with when your brain is only partially functional. That bass was crazy. It was like galloping. The kick drum, I should say.
She's good, she's little misunderstood. Talk to the girl 'cause she's good.
Okay.
Hey, talk to the man 'cause he knows just how the story goes. Talk to the man that knows.
I feel like I might have a sense of where this is going or what this is. We'll see.
Hey, talk to the flower shop girl. She's all in this world. Talk to the flower girl. his head. And I think you'll see that what he thinks makes a lot of sense when you understand.
Excellent.
He's a man that died.
Little electric synth.
He's a man that cried. I think you'll find that what he says doesn't seem like crazy when you're in his head. And I think you'll see that what he thinks makes a lot of sense when you understand. He's a man that died. He's a man that's
Oh, very guitar. Song's like passing into another dimension currently. Hold on. That was insane at the end. It was like we were gonna roll into a post-punk tune and really get the pace going. So I'm curious, I wonder if that was like maybe the tune was originally going to be longer, maybe it was something that was always meant to be kind of a live flourish, like what you do at the end of a track if you're playing it at a concert. But overall, that was a really cool track. Again, it had some vibes that reminded me of Lackluster Me, but it all. Hello. So yeah, I talked for like 2.5 minutes, and then I got to the process of moving the video onto my music computer, or my internet computer rather, and I realized that the end had been cut off. So here we are again. Essentially what I was saying is that I enjoyed the sonic composition of the track, and I enjoyed, again, Paul's vocals. There were just a couple moments where it's like, like some of the tunes that Paul's involved in with Aha, they get, labeled as having some Beatles vibes. There were a couple moments along the way which gave me that. It wasn't an overwhelming feeling, but just at a couple moments. But I was fascinated by the lyrics, and the reason I was like, I think I may know what this is doing, is in part because there's a punk rock tune which is very un-punk-like in its sonic stylings, and I have reacted to it. It's a tune by 10 Foot Pole called Old Man. And yeah, ultimately that track is about how there's this old man who, he's talking about sort of ideas and the way things used to be and so on, and the narrator of the song is like, I don't really have time for this, like whatever. But then the more he hears the guy, he's like, man, that makes a lot of sense, and that's really interesting. And you know what? I know I said I was busy, but I'm going to make the time. I want to hear more from you, and what you say I think is actually important. And this felt like it was doing something similar. Some old guy in the park, maybe just, he's a crazy, he's always there. He's always talking about old stuff or whatever. And then you listen to him and it's like, man, some of these anecdotes, some of these perspectives, it's really interesting. So it feels like that was part of it. But there were more characters than that, right? Like there was a woman who was sort of like alone in the world, and it seemed like there was sympathy for that and wanted someone to talk to her. there was a reference to a girl, I think even before we heard about the old man. Or actually, I don't know if it was Old Man, but that's, I was connecting it to that other song where it's explicitly like, hey, old man, I'm going to stay a while. In any case, there did seem to be some characters, and then it was like maybe about like all these people that you encounter in the world that you might just, glide by or brush off or whatever. They may have stories, they all have their own stories, they all have their own situations, and some of them might be interesting, some of them might be sympathetic, some of them might, benefit from some human interaction. So it maybe felt like it was, describing the human quality of the people you encounter, where again, from your point of view, they could just be background, they could just be some random, nobody that you're not really interested in, but there could be more to it. So yeah, I'm sure there's some layers I'm missing, but that seemed to be at least some of the essence of the tune. And again, because it immediately reminded me of a punk rock tune I'm very fond of, I was keen to sort of see if that's kind of what it was doing. But like I said, cool sonics, a really interesting opening, and yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing. There was some blues guitar even before we got to that end part where it was going to roll into seemingly like a post-punk track. So sonically, I'm intrigued, and lyrically, from what I heard, I found that to be very profound. So in any case, I'll stop babbling. Let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.